Welcome to the part 11 of chapter 4 Modern Indian History lecture series. This will be the last part of chapter 4, then we'll progress to chapter 5 and similarly till the end of chapter 12. So, in this lecture, we are going to talk about the two settlements, the Rayatwadi settlement and the Mahalwadi settlement. We had already discussed in the previous part 10 on the permanent settlement. In the permanent settlement was like the collection of revenue was fixed and the jamindars were allowed to collect more than the uh, marked revenue and increase their profit in that permanent settlement, and we already had discussed in chapter 10. You can go through that video lecture. Before moving to this lecture, I will request you to please go through this lecture till the end so that you will have a complete picture of it. So the Rayatwadi settlement. Now, this Rayatwadi settlement is mainly connected for the mainly related to the aspects of South India. Okay, mainly related to the aspects of South India. Now, so in the South Indian concept, so mainly when we see when British check like the powerful people during their rule in the north were jamindars, okay, jamindars or landlords kind of things were there, but in the south these jamindars were not that much strong, or they do not exist, they didn't exist. So they were in progress like how to collect the taxes from them. So in the, like jamindars were used to act for them as a point of contact, like whenever they want to collect any tax, so jamindars will be act as a point of contact, and British used to contact this jamindar, and and jamindar used to collect the taxes from the peasants and all. Okay, so he was acting as a point of contact, but with the case in the south it was different. So they thought like to whom we act as a point of contact, so in that thing they directly used to collect taxes from the people. So the establishment of British rule in South and Southwestern India brought new problems of land settlements. Like when the British started to rule the Tipu Sultan and they overcome all those regions and all, Mysore and all, so they started to rule into the South and Southwestern parts of the India. So now they had issue of land settlement, like how to collect the taxes and all. So these officials believed that in these regions there were no jamindars, that powerful jamindars with large estates with whom settlement of land revenue could be made, and that introduce of jamindari system would upset the existing state of affairs. Okay, so like and they do not want to introduce a jamindari settlement kind of stuff in the south, so that people may revolt and it may upset the people of that region. So um, they moved for this Rayatwari settlement. In the permanent settlement, British had to deal with the jamindars with where huge revenue were going into them only. So they realized that in the permanent settlement we discussed that this was going mainly to like the profit of the jamindars were huge in the permanent settlement. Okay, so it was like there was no upper limit to collect the tax. Okay, and but there was a lower limit for the collection of tax. So the lower limit was going to the pocket of British, and whatever the upper limit, whatever the more amount they collected in the permanent settlement, that was going into their pocket as a profit. So that kind of system they do not want to introduce in the south, because they knew, because they started to knew like they were in the loose in the permanent settlement side. Okay, so in the permanent settlement, British had to deal with the jamindars where huge revenues were going into their pocket. Thus, Madras officials led by Reed and Monroe suggested to make cultivators as an owner. The cultivators were going to cultivate, make as owner, and asked them to pay revenues. So, what is the difference here? Instead of jamindars, now they are going to uh, collect the tax by each cultivators. What was the difference into that? Here, the difference was that with the previous permanent and all is that the revenue would be revised. In the permanent settlements, revenue was fixed. Here, the revenue would be revised periodically. Okay, so under it, cultivator was to be recognized as the owner of his plot, land subject to the payment of land revenue. initially they called that they will be the owner of the plot, but later they cleared that they are not owner. they are merely a they are merely paying a rent for using the land. Okay, they started to recognize it. Starting they told that you will be the owner, but later they declared it that no, you are not the owner, you are just paying the rent to the government on the place of cultivating the land. Okay, so in the beginning of 19th century, it was introduced in Madras. This Rayatwadi settlement introduced in Madras and Bombay Presidency. The settlement under Rayatwadi system was not made permanent. It was not made permanent, and it was revised periodically after 20 to 30 years when the revenue demand was usually raised. So the revenue tax was not fixed and it was revised periodically. So the Radwari settlement did not bring into existing a system of peasant ownership. So there was, so don't think like they will a system of peasants ownership. No. Why it is so? Why we slow? Because later they declared it that no, you are not the owner, you are a mere rental. So the peasants soon realized that the large number of peasants have been replaced by one giant jamindar, and they were merely a government tenants whose land was sold if they failed to punctually pay land revenue, and that selling of land money will not go to the peasants. Okay, so thus it proved that they were not the owners of the land. In fact, latter government openly claimed that the land revenue was a rent, not a tax. Okay, so the money that they were paying, the money that they were paying, it was not a tax for the, let's suppose tax, it was a revenue. It was like rent. You are giving rent to the government. When you are giving the rent, rent is like, it is not your house, you are paying the rent to the owner. When you are paying the tax, you are owning something and you are paying a tax to the government. Okay, so they were not paying the tax, they were paying the rent. So thus the right of ownership of land was negated by the three other factors. Land revenue fixed was very high. That land revenue was very high, and they hardly left with any maintenance cost for them. That peasants, it was high up to 40 to 45% of gross production of Madras and Bombay. Like up to the gross production. What is the gross production GDP of during that period of the Madras and Bombay? It was up to the 40 to 45% high. Okay, so the government retained the right to enhance land revenue at will. They could revise the land revenue at their will whenever they want. The right had to pay the revenue even if its produce was partially or wholly destroyed by the drought or floods. If they failed to pay the, if they failed to pay the rent, if they fail to pay the rent, then they have to, then their land will be sold. Okay, then their land will be sold, and it will be sold by the government. The money will be under the pocket of government only. So this was all about Rayatwadi settlement. Now the Malwadi settlement. Malwadi settlement is nothing. There is nothing more changes. Here is also same, but it was introduced in the northern part. Here, complete villages will have a one headman, and that headman, like what you call mukhia, like in village, like so you tell me, like mukhia in the panchayat and all, that kind of headman was introduced in the Malwadi settlement. So there will be a village head, and that village head man will be responsible for collecting the revenues from the peasants. So a modified version of Jamindari settlement introduced in the Ganga Valley of Northwest provinces, part of central India, and the Punjab was known as the Mahalwadi settlement system. It covered the state of Punjab, Awadh, Agra, and the parts of Odisha and MP. So in this system, British started to collect taxes from each villages. Okay, so they call village as a mahal. Okay, and each village will have a one headman. Each village will have a one headman, and this headman will be responsible for collection of revenues. Okay, these headman will be responsible for the collection of revenues. So village headman will pay directly to the companies and not to jamindars. So there was no jamindar kind of things where there village headman will collect the money and will pay to the government. So it was like mainly working as a employee of the government. So collectors will be there who used to village, inspecting the land, measuring the fields, recording the customs and rights of the different groups. So there will be government officials who will go to village, calculate what amount of land is there, what amount of products can be produced from that land, and as per the area, fertility, if there is fertility and all they consider, as per that they used to fix the revenue for that region. They used to fix the revenue for that region. Okay, and it was also not fixed, it was also can be revised periodically. Okay, it was not like a permanent settlement where the rent was fixed. So the one important correction that they made, the revenue collection will be revised periodically, not permanent fixed like unlike permanent settlement. So the British, by making land as a commodity which could be freely bought and sold, introduced a fundamental change in the existing land system of the country. The stability and the continuing of the Indian villages were shaken. In fact, the entire structure of the rural society began to break up. This was all about in chapter 4. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. This is a new channel. We really need your support.